There, beautiful souls. Welcome back or welcome to the Hawk and I. My name is Lana Zelinsky, and I work in the spirit dimensions. As always, in all my live feeds or my videos, simply take what resonates, and you're welcome to leave the rest right here. Happy Monday. Here we are in the middle of October. Um, Kind of a bit of a gray day here today. Some rain around us, at least in this end of Kitchener, Ontario. I hope that you all had a wonderful weekend. Energy update today. I have a fair bit to talk to you about, as well as some channeling that I did that left me kind of really touched from the spirit dimensions this morning. I'll give you all a minute to come on in. Good morning, good day, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are on the globe. Come on in, come on in. Have a seat and get comfortable. So we got a bit of a mixed bag this week. Is kind of how I feel. We've got this heightened energy around us, and it's feeling a little bit of a whole bunch of things, to be honest with you. But the greatest vibration this week that is moving through is emotions are on high alert. There's a higher level of emotional stuff going on. We did have an eclipse that has moved through, which kind of stirred things up a little bit. And there was a lot of movement of what needs to let go and what we need to work on, and what we need to put where we need to put our focus in a little bit. And depending on, and it might not be you particularly that's feeling emotions, but it may be people around you as well. So there may be people around you that are a little bit short fused, or a little bit um high vibrational emotions coming out. They may be sharing what they're feeling. They may be you, or perhaps it's you. Maybe you're feeling a lot. Maybe you're feeling some of your own stuff, some of the stuff that's going on in the world right now. Maybe you perhaps you're feeling that, like really feeling that. And sometimes when we feel that, we kind of tap into, why am I feeling this, and why is this happening, and and I need to kind of work on what I'm feeling. And sometimes all we can really do is simply allow, just simply allowing ourselves to have a good cry, allowing ourselves to have a good laugh, allowing ourselves to feel whatever it is that we're energetically feeling. Now, with all that emotional stuff that's going on, with all this stuff that we're kind of working on and evolving through, because it is a transformation when I sit with that energy. It's not this heavy bad space that we're in. It's a transformation. It's a transformation. We are kind of working through a lot of our stuff in order to kind of level up, to take our next steps, to grow ourselves spiritually. And that was a big shout out for me from in my meditation this morning. Is it's not a holdback, it's a transformation. And I was like having these aha moments with a lot of the transformation and stuff that I've been personally working on. The other thing that came through, excuse me, and that felt very high vibration for me, was there's this extra connection right now to the spirit dimensions. There's an extra connection right now to the angelics. You may be feeling your own intuition, or your own psychic awareness is going to be kind of like blossoming and blooming. And I feel like this week it's going to kind of navigate through with this. You may be getting your own messages. You may be getting messages through your emotions. You may be having your intuition shouting connection and our own personal gifts within us. And leaning into that is going to help us transform through a lot of these emotions, through a lot about what is going on. And don't discard it. Don't kind of like, when I say discard it, I mean, like, don't overthink it. Don't kind of push it back. Lean in there just a little bit. Whether you just kind of journal it, or whether you talk to somebody about it, just sharing what you're picking up or what you're getting, and working with the angelics is a huge help when we're trying to grow into that space. We have our own superpowers, and I feel like they're going to be getting louder and louder and louder. And more people are going to be kind of leaning into that trust space just a little bit more. And this is how I heard it from spirit this morning. The hand of the universe, and whatever the universe means to you, whether it be source energy or the angelics or spirit, whatever that means to you, the hand of the universe is reaching out for your highest good. And sometimes with that change and that shift and that reaching out, it does require us to let go of some things too. And that's where a lot of these emotions are going to be coming in at that level as well. With, okay, I've got to let this go. I got to move. I got to let, whether it be a person, a place, or opportunities. And when the hand of the universe reaches out and we go ahead and grab it, we tend to kind of like pull back, don't we? Well, I don't want to let that go. And I'm not quite sure about that change. Literally lean in there a little bit and say, okay, even if I'm just going to kind of hold that hand and maybe just lean, I don't have to take great big steps, but maybe if I just lean and tap into my own awareness, my own the messages that I'm receiving, we tend to be able to say, okay, I'll trust that just a little bit. I'll just trust that just a little bit. And that's going to become very much expansive over the next several weeks and several months. I really, I got all this, even though I was feeling all these emotions from when I was channeling. I was also feeling the transformation of a large group of people collectively leaning in and saying, okay, okay, I'm gonna take that hand. I'm gonna take that hand of the universe that's reaching out for my highest good, and things that need to fall back or places that need to fall back from are I'm just gonna lean in there just a little bit. Now, with this extra intuitive piece that's coming forward, and I'll be curious if you guys would like, if some of you sorry, I'm pulling on my own hair here, if some of you would like to just journal it for me. Are you receiving little intuitive pieces? Are you hearing things or knowing things, or is your gut speaking? Lean in there. But as you also kind of navigate through there, what's kind of really important, because remember, people are going through a lot of other stuff too. There's people around you, whether it be your work life or your home life or your friends. They've got a lot of this stuff going on and floating in their aura, floating in their vibrational frequencies, and it can kind of impact us, especially for those of you who are big feelers. For those of you who are empaths, for those of you who struggle a little bit with feeling other people's stuff, just apply a little extra layer, and I'll use the word protective energy. So, if you resonate to crystals, work with them. If you resonate with nature, get out there. If you resonate with white light, protect yourself. It's not to protect yourself from the necessarily the negative. That helps too, but it also just kind of protects you from feeling everything at that high intensity. Because when there's a big group of us feeling something, if you're a feeler, and as your own psychic connections and abilities and your own openness, as you transform, we start to become this extra aware, and it can kind of buzz us out a little bit. It's kind of the best way that I can describe it. But when we kind of protect ourselves, we can still help people without necessarily absorbing it. So it's that whole piece of observe, don't absorb when it comes to like helping other people. So just because we do kind of align with people who are going through something very similar, and they may lash out, or they may be emotional, or they may be angry, and then we kind of lean in there and we pick it up and take it personal. And it's not personal when people are going through their own stuff, but sometimes it's really hard not to take it that way, right? And when you think about your own emotions and your own energy, sometimes we emit things energetically, and we don't mean to affect other people. I don't mean to bring you down, or you don't mean to bring me down. You're just sharing or releasing. So just kind of button up a little bit with a little bit of protection, so that you're able to help other people from your own lane. Observe rather than absorb, as you're navigating through all of your own connections and all of your own things that you kind of got floating on as well. Now, this is kind of where spirit kind of shifted things for me, and I will scroll back up and read some of the comments in a little bit. But where things kind of shifted for me, and spirit was very loving, yet very much, I need you to hear this, kind of thing, kind of energy around what I'm going to say next is, don't take for granted the moments that you have impacted other people, and the moments that other people have impacted you. And when you think about all the people that have come into your journey that you have helped, you may not you may not know how much you've helped someone. You may not truly understand that the energy that you gave, or the time that you gave, or the healing that you sent, you may not kind of have an understanding on how much that means to people. And it kind of leans in there with, we can be kind, and so kind, and so kind. And we may never actually see um that come back towards us from people that we've helped, but energetically it does. And energetically, we need to kind of lean in there a little bit. And, Spirit was very clear, don't take that for granted. All of that wonderful stuff that you put out there and help people, or perhaps the people that have helped you, it can be something as simple as a smile can change someone's entire day. And I know this is very, very basic, but there's something very powerful with this that Spirit's asking us to lean into, is don't take that for granted. And even the people that have been there for you, it may have been years since you've seen somebody, but they may have impacted your journey in a way that you can hardly even verbalize. Somebody may have said something to you that kind of shifted you and kind of helped you along, and then you may never have seen them again. Just kind of lean in there energetically with gratitude and sharing that. I'm really grateful that you came and taught me that and leaned into that and helped me through that, and really feel your own. We do put out an energy that helps people, and whether they acknowledge it or not, you need to acknowledge it for yourself. And I think we'll understand this a little bit more as we kind of proceed through the next couple weeks. But let these words soak in. But just let that soak in a little bit. Let that kind of like reach your soul, or reach your aura, reach your chakras. It's a strong transformation time for all of us. There's a lot going on, and sometimes we feel a little bit wobbly, but your heart space is doing its best to help other people on their journey. And I think that sometimes we take that for granted, and that's how Spirit gave it to me, is just acknowledge it. There's such a power in helping other people, and there's such a power in receiving that help ourselves. And even in the most simplest ways, it doesn't have to be this great big moment that you thank somebody for. It can simply be that, as simple as letting someone go ahead of you in the grocery store impacted your day in a huge way. And I think what Spirit's saying is we need to start acknowledging that, just even the small things, because we're always looking for such big things, whether it be in other people, in relationships, or collectively. And all those small things, when we add the sum of those up, are huge as well. um I know it was really simple, but it literally like left me kind of touched by Spirit with some of that, some of the words this morning on this topic. And it kind of helps us stay in our center too, doesn't it? It kind of helps us stay in that space of, there's still a lot of good in the world. There's a lot of amazing people. There's so much that we do for one another's, even as strangers, that goes uncounted for in the physical world. Like, for example, and I caught myself doing this, I'm sure you all have too. When somebody wants to like pull in front of you, they're trying to get out of a driveway, and you wave them through, and they come on in, and they don't say thank you. It's sometimes it can irk some of us, right? I'm sure it irks you, or you do something and say, wave somebody, and you go ahead, and there's no acknowledgement. You know, just kind of when there's those moments, just kind of feel into that. I did the right thing. I did the right thing, and it doesn't necessarily always have to be, even though it's nice to receive it. Just feel into that a little bit. Just feel that I I'm loving and I'm kind, and not to take that part of you for granted. I loved it this morning when Spirit gave me those words. As simple as it is, I think we really need those simple things. Um, and I think it often reminds us as well to be a little bit more mindful on telling other people, whether it be a wave thanks, or whether it be just a text message, I'm thinking of you, or I'm holding you in love and light. I think sometimes we forget those little things that are just so important energetically. You truly never know the power of something so simple, how it can impact somebody else's life, and how they will often pay it forward. And that's one thing that I always kind of hear back from Spirit. Hopefully, they'll do something very similar to somebody, because they're going to remember that time that you let them go first, or you did something kind. Just feel that. Okay? I know, just feel that. Um that is my update for today. This is how I feel our week is going to go. Some emotion stuff. I am going to come back on Wednesday morning and touch base and see how we're all navigating through these emotions. I do feel like it's going to peak by mid to late week, so we will check in together and see how some of you are navigating through that. we are such an influence and we inspire others so much, and even in the smallest ways. So just feel that as well as you navigate through your week. Let us tap into some of the comments here that are going on. I'm curious to know if some, what, where you're at with the emotion stuff. Perhaps it's other people, or perhaps that it's you. So let's take a scroll down. There's quite a few of you here joining us. Thank you so much. Lots of emotions. Tell me about it, and not just about getting a year older. Yeah, there we go. See? Oh, yeah, a lot of emotions. Look, yesterday I was an emotional wreck. A lot of this is the eclipse stuff and transformation, Cheyenne. A lot of this is like it's time to move through this. It's time to feel. It's time. And there's going to be this step. So, Cheyenne, I'm just curious if you notice in the next. It may not necessarily be this week, but it may be in the next couple weeks. If you notice your connection to spirit, perhaps you're channeling more. Your awareness is heightened. Keep track of that. And sometimes, and this is the importance of journaling. Is sometimes we don't really see it until all of a sudden it's big, because we often don't take a look at those little things. I knew to turn left and not get into that traffic jam, and I got to work even earlier, right? Just those little things. Um, Definitely feel like someone turned the dial up on my emotions this weekend. Here we go. I missed your healing circle and I really needed it. Do you have any messages for me? Donna, you can always you can always tap into, I think, into that video. You can watch the replay and you can lean in there. Everything is all energy, so you don't necessarily have to be present at the exact time that we did it. You can tap back into that, and you can also receive some of the healing that we put out as well. I loved that healing circle, by the way, you guys. It was so awesome to collectively gather. Donna, one thing that I really feel like I need to just kind of give you just a little bit to hold on to is I have to remind you that there is always at the other side of things. There's always the shift. You are going to navigate it through. And how I'm seeing it is I see you on this raft on some rocky waters or a little bit of stormy waters. But I feel like I'm just coming into that new sunrise. Like I'm coming into that rainbow. I'm coming into that space, and I just got to get you to kind of lean in there and kind of take the support that you need, whether it be from other people or whether it be from yourself or from spirit, because I feel like there's a great big beautiful rainbow that's just starting to peak up. So I hope that helps you there. I figured out that my emotional poop show was related to a transformation too. There you go, Cheyenne. I think that there's a lot more that is coming. Lana, I really need to know why my energy is feeling so stagnant. When I lean in there, Donna, what I really feel I need to do is I need to get you to push. Sometimes we have to push ourselves through that. And if your energy is feeling so stagnant, getting stagnant and stillness, sometimes there's a big purpose for it. So sometimes there's a purpose for where we are and what we're feeling, right? Sometimes this is where we are, and this is what I'm learning right now. And I just kind of got to get you to tap into that. This is what I'm learning, but I'm going to start moving my physical body, and I'm going to start moving my thoughts a little bit. I'm going to add a little bit of a different vibration. I'm going to add a little bit of background meditation music while I'm cooking and cleaning or doing whatever that I'm doing. I'm going to get out in nature, even if it's like 5 steps, and look at the sky. It doesn't have to be great big long hikes or great big retreats or something great big and profound. It can be, I'm just going to look outside the window and tap into the fact that I can see the sky and there's no ceiling above me, right? Those little things, while we're going through our stagnant time, because I can't move out of that stagnant. I feel like you're right where you are and you're learning what you need to, and energetically, to help you through some of that, I just got to kind of like add. I always use it as a recipe. I need you to add a few things to just kind of help you through this time and space that you're sitting in. All weekend kept seeing eggshells. I know it's a sign or message, but I don't know for what. So there's a few different meanings for the eggshell. So the one, Diane, that I'm kind of leaning in there is what I feel like you have cracked open. And I mean that from a spiritual perspective. I feel like you've shifted and you've cracked, but I also feel like you're kind of walking very carefully. And I feel like I need to remind you, no, yeah, you're in a new space and it feels kind of different, but you're solid. You're being supported and it's solid. I just feel like there's just a bit of, and it's okay to be a little bit hesitant in growth and in things coming forward, but I just kind of have to talk you through with I'm solid, and it's not that egg walking on eggshell kind of feeling. I feel like I just need to kind of remind you, no, I'm solid. I'm solid. I'm solid. I hope that that helps you there, Len. I spent some cuddle time with the pony and his paddock partner today. Got a question. Both have this behavior. Both had this behavior. They did a ton. I think it's a form of affection, but I'm not sure. What do you feel? I feel it is a form of affection. I will agree with you on that, but I also feel it's a form of, because I can see myself not. I can see the pony kind of sniffing the air. I can, what I feel is like I'm feeling like I need to kind of sniff things out and test what's going on around me. There's a lot of testiness here with this energy here. I feel like I'm testing other animals. I feel like I'm testing people. I just feel like I'm testing a little bit, but it also has a playful feeling for to with it. I don't feel it's like a bad thing I'm gonna test and then misbehave horribly. I feel like it's more of a playful. I'm just gonna play in this energy and see where I can test other creatures, other humans. I feel like I need to test. It also feels quite humorous to me. I feel like I've got a chuckle here, because it doesn't have like a bad behavior or problem, or there needs to be behavioral therapy, if that makes sense. Yes, all of it. So much knowing lately. Yeah, Kayla, that is going to be increasing. There is going to be this huge shift with intuition and your own personal superpowers. um Work really hard on allowing that. I'll tell you, it's delicious to have that portal open for you. And just kind of watch a little bit with the overthinking of, what if this isn't real? What if I can't trust it? What if? Just kind of embrace that a little bit more. When somebody gives you a gift, you know, the first thing that's often out of your mouth before you even open it is, well, thank you very much. You thought of me, right? It's the same thing here energetically with what we're being given, with this heightened awareness, whether you want to call it an open door or a portal. We do have choice and free will on whether or not we want to tap into that, whether we want to use our spidey senses, our spiritual senses, our own personal gift a little bit more. But just kind of lean in there. Trust is a big thing, and trust has been coming up a lot lately. A lot, always with my students, they're learning how to trust. Just kind of lovingly remind yourself of that. You're a student here in the physical world, and I'm learning, right? Just kind of watch, because sometimes we lean in with, oh my gosh, I was wrong. It must not have been spirit, or it must not have been this. Just kind of lean in. I'm learning. Spirit will give, and I'll use myself as an example. I'll have a strong feeling about something, and I'll trust it. I mean, I trust that at a very heightened level, and all of a sudden I find myself picking myself and dusting myself off, and I'll look up and I'll be like, well, what was that? Right? And that's literally what I'll do. I'll be like, what was that? And I'll hear right back at me is, you needed to learn this. Like, this is what you need to learn right now in order to kind of become more expansive. So just kind of remember that a little bit, okay, you guys? Before falling asleep, I saw a shadow of a person to wave hello at me. There we go. A lot of people are calling this, because I've listened to a few other speakers on this topic, over the last, several weeks. And one of the common things that they're using, one of the common phrases, is that the veil is thinning, or the portals are opening. It all means the same thing. But we are also a collective participant in that. We are also participating. When you think about how many people are working on their selves, how many people are working on their own spirituality, how many people are asking, how many people are working with angels and guides. We're kind of collectively expansive and saying, we're ready for more, we're ready for more. And there's a whole lot going on, energetically, with spirituality and stepping in, and we're calling that forward as well. So we do participate in that as well. Me and my spirit guide had a crying session together yesterday, by the way. Lots of emotions. I just read a quote: absorb, don't observe. Observe, don't observe. It's a huge one. So, when it comes to, this is one thing that I work with my mentoring students, is visualize yourselves in this. And I do this with some when I teach them with channeling as well. It's not just with energy, but when you can visualize yourself sitting on in a favorite place, whether it be a bench or down by the ocean or down in the forest, if you can just visualize, I'm going to go have a seat over here while I kind of, watch what's going on so that I'm not absorbing it, right? Because when we absorb so much that's not even ours, and that is a big factor in a lot of relationships. When we take something so personally, we've absorbed somebody else's stuff, and 9 times out of 10, it wasn't personal to begin with. So when we can skip that step of just being the observer and not necessarily absorbing everything around us, and it can be, it can be things on social media. Be careful what you're absorbing there. There's so much on there that if it doesn't bring truth to you, you've got to hit exit, right? That's one thing that I say is, like, don't sit there and listen to something that's not resonating with you. Don't absorb it that way. So I hope those little tips help. PJ, I'm curious if any of my plants have any messages for me. I I know, weird, but I have over 30 plants and curious if they have a message for me. PJ, I don't find that weird at all. Not at all. Because every living thing has a soul. I've even done regressions where people were plants. It surprises them and it surprises me every time it's happened. But it's not weird at all. I hear my plants. I have a it's calla lily that was still blooming, and the calla lily said, "I need to be dug up." And I'm like, well, the weather's still warm and you're blooming, and no, I need to be dug up. And sure enough, like within 2 days, the temperature fell to 5 degrees at night, and that the bulbs won't tolerate anything below freezing. So that was close to the freezing point. So I don't find that weird at all. I feel when I lean in there, PJ, I feel that, and there's one in particular. Do you have a plant? It almost looks similar to a fern or like a palm. I don't want to say a palm tree, but it's taller and it's got like wider leaves. So I don't know if like it feels like more of a tree-ish. I feel like I need a little bit more touch. I feel like I got to get you to reach out and touch. I feel like a little bit of touch is needed there, and I don't feel it's for them. I feel it's for you, and I feel like they're trying to like kind of like give you that growth energy. And when you're struggling with any kind of meditation, or if you're struggling with growing, I need to get you to be more present, more touching, whether it be their soil or their leaves. I'm also feeling a big mist. I feel like I need to kind of like spray myself and spray the plants. Oh, I love that because that can kind of tap into growth or protection as well. I feel like they're trying to work with you with spiritual tools to kind of help navigate through a lot of your own growth. I do feel them very happy. I don't feel anything that you're doing wrong with them whatsoever. I feel like you do quite well with looking after them in a glorious way. I do feel though I can see a cream colored smaller pot, and I feel like somebody's roots are kind of like asking for deeper. So whoever's got that, whatever plant has this cream colored pot, it's like an off white for me. I feel like I'm too tight. So I'll leave you that with that there, PJ. Peyton, I was feeling a bit of fear, and a car drove by listening to loud music, and I heard give thanks and praise to the Lord, and it will be all right. I appreciated the message from Spirit. I love that very much. I love that very much. Jolene, every time I see your name, I think of Dolly Parton. I'm sorry. uh, now you got me singing that song. Thanks, thanks a lot. It's a nice song. We should never forget our own humanity. We tread this path for a short time and we need to help each other along. Absolutely, chaos. And it's so important that we never forget that, never lose sight of that. And that was, I'll just go back to the words that Spirit said. Where was it? Don't take for granted the moments, right? Don't take for granted the moments. You don't know how we impact others, right? So, it's a profound message that and energy is also a powerful thing. Even if you can't do anything, sending energy to someone is such a powerful thing to do. And whether, one thing that people will say, well, what if they don't receive it, what if they don't accept it, and just, this is my gift to you, I'm going to send it, right? Energy is a powerful thing. Thank you for that message. I know I gave my mom everything I had to give during her illness, whether my brother knows it or not. I do not. I do, and I do not. I do believe in the end she did too. Absolutely. And I wanted to touch base on that very quickly, Dee Dee, is Sometimes, and I feel like your mom did when she was here, so this isn't necessarily in your case personally, but I just wanna kind of add in there is sometimes, our experiences with certain people, they may not necessarily truly, know our heart space until they've transitioned up and they have a different perspective, because when we cross over, we also get a very different perspective, and I've had spirit tell me that over and over and over and over again with, I didn't realize how much that person was trying to help and where their heart space was and how much they loved me until I crossed over. And I think that kind of also leads into about not taking for granted for ourselves, not taking for granted all those things that people do for us, right? Because it's so important to validate and honor that when we're here. But I do feel that she knew, Dee Dee, 100%. I feel like she knew. And other people, and here's one thing with other people's stuff. It's not yours. So, Dee Dee, your brother may not have the same perspective or the same understanding, and he doesn't need to. And it's about how you feel and where your heart space was. And one thing that I will often do when I'm struggling, because sometimes we do struggle with other people, let's be honest. It's we do struggle with other people. I will just simply remind myself they're learning that, they're learning compassion, they're learning unconditional love, they're learning, so it just helps us stay out of that um space of resentment, and it also helps us move through letting go. I'm going to let you go. I know you're learning, but fill in the blank. I know you're learning this right now, and I have to observe, not absorb it. So just kind of keep that in perspective a little bit. These messages are reassuring, Lana. It's exactly what I've been feeling the past few days. Thanks, Tin, for letting me know that. The small things that matter most. Absolutely. I know that more than anything. Even as a kid, my mom always told me that I thanked her for all the small, seemingly normal things she did for me. I love that. And I'm gonna kind of tap into that. I'm just gonna add to that, because that those are beautiful words. Is sometimes, all the like I said, all those little things add up to such big, beautiful experiences with people, right? Just those small things, like a text or sending somebody a heart emoji for and nothing else, right? So, nothing else. It doesn't have. It's You're right, Cheyenne. It doesn't have to be those great big things. It's all those little things. Reminds me of the butterfly effect. One small act of kindness can create a chain effect of positivity. That is powerful as well. Look at you guys and all your powerful statements this morning. Absolutely. And that's, with the healing circle, that we did on Saturday, that is exactly, the kind of energy we want to continue to put out there. If you think about it for a moment, if a million people, put out an energy, and that's really loud. Right. So, it can, and one person put something out is really loud. It doesn't have, it matters. Our energy matters. Our thoughts matter. Our love matters. It all matters. And it doesn't go away into nothing. It has an effect somewhere along somebody else's path or even your own. Okay. I gotta watch the time here, you guys. So I do have to work very shortly. Um, I make crochet blankets. Maybe I could send some to Wes. Oh, I love that. Wes, before I became a foster kid, I had a bed with barely any blanket. I was cold all the time. Oh, bless your heart. I got this obsession with blankets and coziness for that reason. Oh, so sweet. Well, for some reason, Lana, when you said I see the sky and there is no ceiling above me, that hit me really deep. Camilla, I even have it's been I posted it probably a year ago about how I always remind myself I don't have a ceiling. There's no ceiling. There's no limitations to, what I can do, what I can learn, and the love that I put out. There's no limitations. That is a big, powerful one, and I'm glad that it helped you. I know there's a lot of questions here, you guys, that I haven't got to, but I do have to get myself in a different alignment for work. I will be back on Wednesday. I haven't forgotten. I'm also haven't forgotten that we need to do a Ask the Medium session where I can just sit here for an hour or an hour and a bit and go through some of your questions. As soon as my schedule permits some space for that, I will definitely put it on the community page. Okay, I haven't forgotten. I also haven't forgotten that we're gonna try and get a past life regression, and it's just been time with balance, and balance is really important to me. And I do practice what I say to other people, is I've got to keep things, right in balance, both with my mediumship, the YouTube channel, my family life. But I have not forgotten. It is on my list to get in there, and we will get at that hopefully soon. Have a great week. I will be back on Wednesday. Love, light, blessings, and of course, have a spirit guided day. Much love to you all.